Hello, everybody. I thought today would be interesting to go through the ancient literature that I have on my bookshelf, particularly Greek and Roman literature. And so, um, well, it's not very much, but I recently got from my brother his collection of Plato, which I've never read Plato, but that will be interesting to read. But what I've been reading lately is I've read the Three Theban Plays by Sophocles. This is the Oedipus cycle. So that would be Oedipus the King, Oedipus at Colonus, and Antigone. And then, of course, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Those are in my to-read list this year, those two. So I've already read Three Theban Plays. I've already read the Aeneid of Virgil twice by two different translators. And I also have the Eclogues and the Georgics. So I've read the Eclogues. I'm working through the Georgics right now, which are really enjoyable, actually. And then here's Horace. So Horace and Virgil were friends, contemporaries, and right on their heels is Ovid and Ovid's Metamorphoses. Ovid has other writings, but I'm not really into erotic poetry, so I don't think I'll be reading his other poetry, but Metamorphoses is really good. And then we have Terence, the comedies. I'm working on this right now. These are very funny. Roman comedies are a little bit ridiculous, but that's kind of the idea. If you've ever seen the movie A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, which was made in the 60s, that is a Roman comedy through and through. That's what Roman comedies are like, more or less. And then we have some work by Cicero. He has some books book 3 on oratory. And then I've only read out of this De Fato, which is on fate or of fate. And I'm actually interested in reading the paradoxes of the Stoics, because Cicero seemed to treat philosophy a little bit more like a la carte. There were things he agreed with the Stoics about. There was things he agreed with the Epicureans about. And he was not afraid of criticizing both philosophical systems. So there actually are theological implications for some of those systems, some of the beliefs within those systems. So that was worth reading. De Fato is very interesting. I ordered On the Nature of the Gods by Cicero. That should be coming soon. So filling in this right here between Cicero and Livy. So then we start with just straight history after that. So I had philosophy and plays and poems. Now getting into history. So I read Livy. This is the first 5 books. So Livy wrote more than 140 books, I believe, covering Rome's history. And that's the first 5. Very good stuff. Very engaging writer. I enjoyed it so much. I recently ordered 2 other volumes of his work. One is on the war with Hannibal, which I think is books 21 through 30. And then Rome and the Mediterranean, which is, I think, books 31 through 42, something like that, or whatever it was. There's just one more section in early history that I don't have that's available, and that would be, I think, books 6 through 10. Most of what Livy wrote is lost to us, but we have at least 35 of his books, and I would like to have all those eventually. He's a very good writer and a careful historian. And then we have Julius Caesar, The Battle for Gaul. This will have different titles depending on publishers. Sometimes called War with Gaul, the Gallic Wars, things like that. If you take Latin in high school, the first Roman writer you're going to translate will be Julius Caesar, most often, because Caesar's Latin is very clean and easy to understand, and he was actually a very, very good writer. And I was so influenced by Julius Caesar's writing style. When I got to college, I was writing very long sentences like he tends to do that are paragraphs long. My professors were not pleased, so I had to make some modifications there. Anyway, then we have The Lives of the Caesars, sometimes called The 12 Caesars by Suetonius. And then we have Tacitus, The Annals. Now, what's good about these is Tacitus and Suetonius were contemporaries, and they're writing about the same time period. So this covers the first 12 Caesars from Julius Caesar on. And then Tacitus covers the reigns of Tiberius, Claudius, and Nero, which is included in Suetonius's writing. So looking forward to reading Tacitus and Suetonius. I've read selections from Suetonius. I don't have a good sense of his complete writing style, but looking forward to diving into those. Then I have to go down to the other shelf here, and we have Herodotus. And I am looking forward to reading Herodotus. It's supposed to be one of the best histories out there ever written, and covers ancient Greece. Cicero spoke very highly of Herodotus. Now, Mary Beard here, she's not an ancient writer. She's just covering an ancient topic. Same with Tom Holland here, not the actor. The Rubicon, the last years of the Roman Republic. Now, if you're looking for a good overview of what Rome was, I do recommend Mary Beard's SPQR. She's an engaging writer, and she finds what's interesting and brings it to the public in a very engaging way. Haven't read Rubicon yet. Looking forward to reading that eventually. Right now I'm on the ancient literature kick. And so the last ancient literature I have here is Josephus. This is the Jewish War. I want to read this because Josephus, though he's a Jew, he could also be considered a Roman. He witnessed the capture of Jerusalem by the Romans during the Jewish uprising. And he saw some very interesting things. And so I wanted to have a copy of this. Now, to keep in mind with ancient literature, you don't have to buy all this. Ancient literature is in the public domain. The public owns it. You don't have to worry about purchasing copies. If you have an internet connection or a good library, you can just read those things with no extra cost, right? For me, I'm old-fashioned. I want to have these things on my bookshelf because I want to come back to them again and again. And so, for instance, with Virgil, what I really like about these books, this is the Loeb Classical Library. So I bought this used, 2 volumes. What I like about these, if we can just get into it. Okay, so for instance, here's a Clog 3. You'll see the English on the right side, but on the left side is the Latin. Not that I am any great shakes with Latin, but what's nice about this is you can compare, like, well, I wonder what word that was, and then look over here and figure it out. So interesting stuff. I really like these Loeb Classical Library books, but they tend to be pricey, even used. So I paid $25 for those too. So that was a bit of a splurge. I try not to spend double digits on any used book. Some of them you can get for less than $6. Most of them you can. So just something there to think about. You don't have to spend money to read these things. And there's articles I've read by Cicero and Seneca that are online. Like, I don't think I need these. I want to interact with the text. I want to mark it up so I could print it out. Actually, that's how I read De Fato the first time, was a printout, but I wanted a copy of it in book form with the Latin right next to it. So I ended up getting that. And it has some other articles there, some other essays by Cicero. So things to consider if you want to have a library at home with some ancient literature. And these are the ones that have interested me. So there's some that are still on the way. Like I said, I have 2 more books of Livy coming. And then I have not just Herodotus, I have Thucydides, or however you say his name, I'm actually sure, will sit next to Herodotus here when that comes. So that's it. That's what I've got for ancient literature. Usually my fare is American history, is what interests me the most, especially World War II and maritime history. Oh yeah, so I have some of my pirate books are over here. And then Storms and Shipwrecks of New England is not a pirate book. But anyway, I've read about half of those. And then I have some lobster fishing books and a couple of handbooks, or guidebooks on beekeeping and outdoors and other interesting things. But to fill out this shelf, when I get the other stuff from Livy, I'm probably going to move these to a different shelf. Maybe the 3 of those, I'm not sure. All right, so I just thought it'd be interesting for you to see. I don't have a lot of ancient literature on my shelf. That's fine. I don't have a lot of money. So this takes time to build a library, but it is enjoyable to read ancient literature. And I think that if you were to dive into, especially Roman literature and then a bit of Greek literature, I would recommend everything that I've read so far and that I pointed out today. So, well, that's it for now. Hope everyone has a great day.